The Golden State Warriors trade for Jimmy Butler was initially viewed as a desperate attempt that wouldn't elevate them to true championship contention. However, after just 2 games, something is clearly working. While Butler isn't an elite 3-point shooter, he brings a crucial element to the team that has completely changed their dynamic, and the entire league is taking notice, though no one seems to have an answer for it. Before acquiring Butler, the Warriors had a glaring issue. Beyond Steph Curry, they lacked a consistent shot creator. Early in the season, they looked like legitimate contenders, surging to the top of the Western Conference standings with their trademark ball movement, premier shooting, and defensive intensity. For a brief period, it seemed as the Warriors had rediscovered their championship identity. However, it wasn't long before opposing teams exposed their biggest weakness. Once defenders recognized that Curry was the team's only reliable offensive engine, they prioritized stopping him at all costs. Defenders started guarding him aggressively from half court, doubling him almost every possession, even when he didn't have the ball, forcing the rest of the roster to step up. And unfortunately, no one else on the team could consistently create their own shot or capitalize on defenders overloading on Curry. When he was shut down, the Warriors were shut down, leading to frustrating losses and a steady drop in the standings. To address this issue, Golden State traded for Dennis Schröder, hoping his ball handling and playmaking ability would ease the burden on Curry. The plan was for Schröder to exploit 4-on-4 situations when teams overloaded on Curry and provide much needed secondary scoring. But things didn't go as expected. Schröder never quite meshed with the Warriors, often looking out of sync and hesitant. His jump shot was unreliable, making him a non-threat beyond the arc, and defenses quickly adjusted to that, sagging him off to clog driving lanes, further stifling the Warriors' offense. During his 24-game stint with the Warriors, he shot just 37% from the field, and the team posted an 11-13 record in that span. The impact they had hoped for simply never happened. And with their struggles continuing, the Warriors made a bold move at the trade deadline, sending a package centered around Andrew Wiggins and Dennis Schröder in exchange for Jimmy Butler. In just 2 games, Butler has already provided exactly what the team was missing. Someone who can create his own shot, relieve pressure off Curry, and bring a tough, competitive edge over the others. His ability to operate efficiently in 4-on-4 situations has opened up the floor, making life significantly easier for Steph, who no longer has to fight through double teams just to get a clean look. With Butler on board, the Warriors are playing with renewed confidence and aggression, embracing an underdog mentality. His leadership and intensity have injected energy into the team, and we can see it on the court. At 2-0 in the Butler era, the Warriors seems revitalized and poised to make a serious push. Although these wins come against struggling teams like the Bulls, who had just suffered a 40-point home loss to the Pistons, and a Bucks squad missing Giannis, Golden State is still not in the position to be selective, and in a brutally competitive Western Conference, every single win counts, and the Warriors must take full advantage of winnable games to stay in the mix. And these 2 games with Jimmy Butler has allowed them to get to the 10th spot in the Western Conference. And while some may downplay these victories due to the level of competition, There are key takeaways suggesting Golden State is trending in the right direction. One of their biggest issues before acquiring Butler was their inability to generate easy points at the free throw line. They relied heavily on jump shots and movement-based offense, which, while effective, became predictable and easier to defend, especially in close games. The Warriors needed a player who could create contact, slow the game down, and manufacture points in a more stable way, and Butler has already made a significant impact in that area. And in his first game against Chicago, Butler scored 25 points with an efficient 58% shooting, adding 4 assists, a steal, and a block. More importantly, he got to the free throw line 13 times. And in his second game against Milwaukee, he recorded 20 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 steals while drawing 15 free throw attempts. These numbers highlight his value, not just as a scorer, but as a player who can dictate the pace of the game. Getting to the free throw line isn't just about adding points. It's a simple ripple effect on the entire game. It gives the Warriors crucial breaks, allowing their core players to conserve energy. More importantly, it enables them to set their defense more frequently, preventing teams like the Bucks and Bulls from capitalizing on transition opportunities. Both Milwaukee and Chicago thrive in fast break situations, using quick hitting plays to catch defenses off guard. However, Butler's ability to force stoppages limits those fast break opportunities, making opponents work harder for their points. This additional effort wears them down, impacting their defensive effectiveness as the game progresses. And by the fourth quarter, defenses that started out aggressive often become slower and less disciplined, something the Warriors have already exploited. And perhaps Butler's biggest impact has been on minutes when Curry isn't on the floor. Throughout Steph's career, one of the Warriors' biggest struggles has been maintaining or even building leads when he's resting. Regardless of how strong the roster has been, the non-Curry minutes have consistently been a weakness. The offense would stagnate. The opponents would often flip the momentum in their favor. However, in just the last 2 games with Butler, that trend is already changing. When Curry goes to the bench, the Warriors no longer look lost. Instead of scrambling to hold on to leads, they have a steady offensive presence in Butler, who controls the game, embraces the role of the lead scorer and playmaker, and ensures that the team doesn't fall apart. And defensively, the Warriors have looked way stronger during these stretches. Butler's presence gives them an edge, allowing them to play more physically and force stops. And without Curry, they've leaned on a more defensive-minded lineup, enabling them to grind out possessions and dictate the pace. This was especially evident against Milwaukee, where Butler led the charge to close the third quarter strong. Instead of merely surviving while Curry rested, the Warriors actually built momentum, something that has rarely happened in recent years. What makes Butler's impact so unique is that the Warriors have never had a player quite like him alongside Curry. While Kevin Durant provided elite shooting and scoring, he was more premier-oriented and wasn't the type to grind out possessions or control the tempo. Butler, on the other hand, is more physical, defensive-minded, and thrives in a half-court setting. His ability to dictate the pace, draw fouls, and disrupt opposing offenses makes his fit with the Warriors extremely intriguing. Not only does Butler stabilize the team in Curry's absence, but he also makes Steph even more dangerous when he returns on the floor. Instead of constantly having to dig up his team out of the hole, Curry can now build upon leads already established. In his first 2 games with Butler, Curry has been at his best, dropping 34 points in one game and 38 in the next, while shooting 50% from the field. If Butler continues to have this kind of impact, the Warriors may finally have addressed one of their biggest weaknesses: what happens when Curry isn't on the floor. And beyond that, he might be unlocking an even deadlier version of Steph Curry. If you want to find out how this trade happened, then make sure to click this video. And if you want to know more about the Luka Doncic trade to the Lakers, click this one. And if you haven't yet subscribed, click right here in the middle. And until next time, stay hoopin'.